Good morning and welcome to News Update. I am India Kobong Achibong. Edo State Government and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Edo State Command, are to commence a census of scrap markets and scavenging points across Edo State to establish a monitoring and control framework. This is an effort to curb vandalism and regulate scrap and scavenging activities across the state. Governor Mondo Powolu made the commitment during a courtesy visit by the new NSCDC Commandant, Edo State Command, Akintayo Saidi Anila at the Government House. Good Lokedani reports.
The move to regulate activities of scavengers in Edo began 3 months ago. This visit, the command said, is to solidify that intention. The governor condemned the growing trend of the activities of scavengers to growing incidents of theft and vandalism linked to their operations. He announced plans to send a bill to Edo State House of Assembly to regulate the operations of scavengers and scrap dealers.
Put an end to it. So we're going to send the document to the house so that when somebody is operating, they should know his boundary.
For this to work effectively, Commandant Akintayo Saidi Anila wants government to adopt measures such as designating specific areas for scrap markets, regulating their hours of operation, mandating registration and licensing of scrap dealers, as well as restricting the handling of critical infrastructure materials.
In recent times, Edo State has witnessed several incidents of vandalization, including removal of electric cables, theft of manhole, destruction of street light poles, and dismantling of fence railings, among others. If these activities are not properly regulated, they could further escalate into more severe crime.
Earlier, the governor commiserated with Anila, who officially assumed office on October 17, 2025, over the passing of the late Commandant Benga Agun Joseph in Benin. Good luck in NT News.
The Federal High Court sitting in Benin City has adjourned the trial case involving the alleged aiding of the suicide of Mrs. Lillian Omokwale, the daughter of the Chief Executive Officer of Wuyi Technical Limited, Mr. Omori Olotun. The adjournment was due to absence of the defendants in court. Vebelosagi has the details.
Presiding Judge Honorable Justice Quadri found at the absence of the defendants, Jessica Igbodala, Akpes Omorodion, and Esther Osamoji, saying their actions contravene the rule of the court that all defendants must be present during proceedings. Meanwhile, it was only Jessica Ogonwe that was represented by a counsel, Dele Igbinedion Esquire, while the other defendants were absent in court. The complainant, Uyi Oloton, was represented by his counsel, Olayiwola Afolabi San, accompanied by the chairman, Nigeria Bar Association, Benin Branch, Idemudia Osifo, and Douglas Ogbankwa Esquire, among other counsel. Before the adjournment, Prosecution Counsel Polycarp Ojon filed an ex-parte motion supported by an 8-paragraph affidavit seeking an order for substituted service of court processes on Jessica Ogonwe Igbodala by posting them on the notice board of the Federal High Court, Sapele Road, to compel an appearance within 30 days. However, Jessica's counsel, Dele Igbinedion, opposed the motion, describing it as premature and unfair prosecution against his clients, praying the court to balance the order, especially when other 2 defendants were not in court. He further argued that such a move would be futile, noting that Jessica does not reside within the court premises and therefore would not see the notice when placed on the notice board. He urged the court to dismiss the application, insisting that granting it would serve no practical purpose.
The matter was stalled, and the prosecution has to take a date so that they will be able to produce all the defendants in court. As you are aware, Jessica Ogonwe Igbodala has been elusive since this charge has been filed. However, the other 2 defendants were recently added through an amendment, so the prosecution is trying to get the other 2 defendants in court.
I found it incongruous. So I raised it that the other two defendants were not in court? Why are they singling out Jessica Igbodala for the summons when two other defendants out of the three are not in court? No explanation as to their absence, and that it was prosecutorial persecution of one person who should not be allowed.
Arguing further, the prosecution's counsel, Polycarp Ojon, allegedly noted that Jessica's counsel wanted to deliberately undermine the court, as his action can result to a contempt of court. According to the prosecution counsel, before an objection can be raised in court by a defendant, his plea must be taken first. This he said Jessica Igbodala failed to do. The case was adjourned to December 3, 2025, enabling the parties involved appear in court. In Benin, Gabriel Osagi, NT News.
The Oba of Benin, Ewa II, has marked his birthday celebration, which doubled as his 90-year coronation anniversary. Bukola Rubusi reports that the prominent Benin sons and daughters, as well as other guests, gathered to celebrate with the Oba.
The glamour and beauty of the rich cultural heritage of the Benin Kingdom came alive during the dual celebration. The arrival of the chief celebrant, Oba Ewari II, set the tone for the celebration. Members of the Benin royal family, chiefs, Ikaos, Idionweres, Okiageles, market women, politicians, and visitors all paid homage to the Oba. The Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, Blessing Adebaku, and Odionweres, who are among dignitaries, described Oba's reign as peaceful and has brought meaningful development to the Benin Kingdom, especially with the returns of artifacts.
As a house, on behalf of my members, we wish the Oba of Benin happy birthday. I wish him happy anniversary, nice anniversary. We are happy to be associated with this palace. He has been a wonderful father. He has been good to all of us. We wish him more years of celebrations like this. God will give him the wisdom to pilot the affairs of the kingdom.
His fatherly role has been fed by everyone in the kingdom, and I wish him more years.
It was a celebration of prayer.
For long life and prosperity.
The activities was glamorous with Oba's gesture. In Benin, Bukola Urubusi, NT News.
Meanwhile, Governor Monte Polo has extolled the revered Oba of Benin, Uriah II, on the occasion of his birthday. Governor Polo has also extended his best wishes to the Benin monarch on his 90-year coronation anniversary. In a statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Fred Itoa, Governor Polo celebrates the monarch's firm commitment to the preservation of the rich cultural heritage of the Edo people and his impactful leadership since ascending the revered throne of his uncle. His reign has been characterized by peace, development, and a push for the unity and progress of the Benin Kingdom and Edo State at large. Governor Polo prays Oba Ewari II continues in good health, strength, and many more years on the throne. And that does it for news updates. Coming up shortly is our program, Midweek Connect. Please stay tuned.
NTA Benin, reaching you from the ancient city of bronze, the cradle of black civilization.
Do you live in Aduawa and environs, or you need a conducive and open field in Aduawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremonies, family or corporate events in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. NTA Benin Aduawa is the place for you. NTA Benin Aduawa has a large field for all your events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art fully air-conditioned ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set, therefore ensuring uninterrupted power supply. We also have NTA Pavilion for all outdoor events at the same venue. Guess what? Our prices are affordable, locations are easily accessible, venues conducive and highly secured. Our outside broadcast van is available 24 hours and can broadcast your events live. And above all, you can air your events on our award-winning program like Events and Style. And any booking on the field or hall gets a bonus of free news coverage. Wow! What are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity and have your celebration in a grand style. For inquiries and bookings, please call NTA Benin, the award-winning station.
Obokian, otherwise known as Waka.
This is Health Plus. Today, searchlight on universal healthcare. What does it mean, Fatal?
It's good to sing praise unto our God, for it is pleasant and praise is comely.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode on Youth Arena.
Hey there, welcome to another exciting episode in Top 7 Jams. It's your girl Pearl. You are watching NTA Benin, Channel 7 for your breaking news, program sponsorship and participation. Contact our marketing department. Follow us across our social media pages on Facebook, NTA Benin 1, on Twitter, NTA Benin 1, on YouTube,
another edition of Midweek Connect, where we're going to discuss the issue of CNG. You know, when the issue of fuel subsidy came up, these are one of the policies that the government, federal government brought in to cushion the effect. So long queues, however, long queues seem to have returned at filling stations and in most parts of the metropolis. Unfortunately, this time around, the queues are from drivers that use compressed natural gas, CNG. However, one may begin to wonder the reason for this. Is there scarcity or any other factor? So these and more will be discussed on this week's edition of Midweek Connect. I am Ifoma Okafor. Of course, we're already seated. This Oduak. We're already seated, ready for the discussion on compressed natural gas. And of course, I think we have a guest that we have a guest. The guest will join us later in the program, just like the beginning of where I said the long queue seem to have returned in some parts of the state because of is this scarcity. So these are the things that our guest will do justice to when he joins us later. So how do you see this CNG?
Well, I really need to talk about it. I think to me, well, it's a good initiative. Yeah. I think there's so many challenges surrounding it and all that, and let's just hope that by the time we look at it, we'll be able to, the guests will be able to talk more on it.
Dissect so many angles to it. But before then, we'll have our usual background reports that will usher us into the discussion while we hold on to the guests joining us later.
The introduction of the compressed natural gas (CNG) as an alternative to premium motor spirits (PMS) was part of the federal government's plan to reduce the effects of subsidy removal and reduce Nigerians' dependence on petrol. It was projected to be a cheaper, cleaner, and more sustainable fuel source for Nigerians, especially commercial transport operators. However, several months after the initiative was launched, many challenges have surfaced. One of the most pressing is the scarcity of CNG at fueling stations, especially in cities like Benin, Lagos, Abuja, and others. Commercial drivers are often seen spending hours on long queues, struggling to get CNG to power their vehicles. The delay in expanding infrastructures, limited number of conversion centers, and slow pace in rolling out CNG-compatible vehicles have worsened the situation. While the government says CNG is the future, transporters and passengers are the most hit of the current crisis. Join us this week on Midweek Connect as we take a closer look at the issues surrounding the CNG rollout, its challenges, impact on transportation, businesses, and what can be done to make the transition smoother.
Thank you so much, Rashidat, for that beautiful background. She made mention of government, the conversion, despite the conversion from the federal government. I know when the government, stood on its feet to do this program of conversion starting from Abuja, Lagos, Kano, in other parts of the state. And we are wondering, from that background, that why, despite all these programs from the government, the federal government, there are still, pockets of gridlocks. People, the drivers, commuters trying to purchase this CNG.
I think, when the federal government, everything dates back to when we had this administration in power some years back, 2023. And I think the president was like, let's have this initiative, the compressed natural gas initiative, to cushion the effect of fuel removal
for subsidy.
Yes, a lot of people, embraced the initiative, knowing that gas is a bit cheaper. Talking of petrol and diesel, is a bit cheaper. And I think it has so many characteristics.
It doesn't burn fast.
Emission is not really there. And you can really be conserved and all that. A lot of things. And we were like, let's embrace it. It's okay for the country and all that. I know we talk of diversification. And also, Nigeria is a blessed country. We have energy resources and all that. And so, President, but what we are really saying, I think, there are challenges, because if you look at the how many stations are having it, how many fuel stations have really adopted the CNG conversion?
I think that's one of the challenges.
Yes, it's a major challenge.
I think at the beginning of this conversion, the policy, I think what the government had in mind, then it was 230 naira per kg. You understand? Compare it to the price of the fuel that is up to 900 and something. So
even diesel is about 2,000 or something.
Exactly.
Like
so I think so many commercial drivers, embraced the initiative. Most of them now began to convert their engines to CNG. And at the end of the day, I think it's because of influx. When you have a large number of things, the scarcity, of course, is a natural thing, but that does not undermine the effort of the federal government in trying to bring up this initiative, which so many people have already benefited. So I think what the government at the state levels should look at is trying to key into that government's policy of that conversion in their states. So I don't know how many that are in Edo State. I know that one is close to Aduawa conversion. So this conversion.
Many. So you see, that's a major challenge. The filling stations, though, they have this conversion in their whatever, and then you have the high cost of converting from what we're using to it. People are complaining that it's on the high side.
It's up to 1.something million for private cars and
and a lot of people in Nigeria, if things like this come, people they don't really look at the far benefits. Just now. What are we benefiting now from it? So let us just try and be okay.
When the government, federal government, announced the removal of fuel subsidy, it came like a thunderbolt. Sorry to say, so people, it's really, it was eating into people's pockets where it concerns transportation. So people were looking for alternatives, So that was one of the alternatives that people, commercial drivers, and I believe people really benefited. But our people, the way we are, even when they were buying 230 naira, it was all recently that it was increased to 450.
Now it's between 300 and 500.
500. It's still cheaper than the LNG, So at the end of the day, transporters still hike. Even when the federal government has this initiative in mind, you see them trying to, bring up the price of transportation. Drop now, just a distance is 200 naira, some places 300. While some places 500, as high as 500 naira. And most of these transporters, they use CNG. They've already converted, but you still see them hike their prices. So it's not, I don't think that's what the federal government had in mind. Even the state governments, trying to key into the programs, you see them trying to open up conversion points, centers in their different states. I don't know, this time around we can call on number to call so that people can join, because this is an interactive, it affects everybody. Me as a civil servant, I know what I spend every morning on transportation, so you can join us, you can have your opinion, you can tell us how many conversion areas or how it affects you, or if you're a taxi driver or you're a bus driver, you can tell us how it affects you directly, because people complain of spending hours at filling stations trying to fill their cars. So the number that you can call is 081 090 42594, 081 090 42594.
You can also call 0703 695 7086. I repeat, 0703 695 7086. Yes, we are still talking about CNG and matters arising. A lot of things are happening in the energy sector, and we know that we keep battling with fuel. It has always been a problem, honestly, especially towards when we have these festive periods coming like this. You'll be seeing it increases in price. A lot of people what is really happening, and yet you have these resources and all that. people begin to wonder what is really happening in the energy sector. And then we have the CNG, but we are still faced with challenges. And you begin to wonder, it needs a concerted effort, because if we are talking about having to diversify and let people enjoy other part of this sector, not just fuel and diesel, just gas, compressed gas, use it in your vehicle and drive. And then we're having this issue of fuel stations, a lot of people not having it in their stations to dispense and all that, and people are like,
it's one of these characteristics that Nigerians are known for, maybe the area of hoarding. Is it that they are trying to hoard it, or what? Now that we are approaching festive period, that they have high demand. Maybe it's one of the factors.
You know that I was listening to somebody. He said Nigerians are too good at exploitation.
Yes,
he said something could just happen. Like we are still talking about the energy sector.
Yeah,
you didn't know of the cooking gas. Right
cooking
now.
gas, but I think it quickly came down. I think that was when Nupeng had issues with Dangote.
Really down, as
I think I
talking.
got 1,000.
Was it like that before now?
No, it keeps on going up and coming down.
When that
steady, the price is not steady.
Well, I'm talking about exploitation. When that strike came up, but
even with the old stock, you saw them,
lots of people like
trying to hike their prices,
and even the NNPC CEO was like saying it's artificial. There is no official increase in price of cooking gas.
I believe
that is artificial. People just, Nigerians, most of them will like, let's just exploit the people, capitalize on what is on ground, and let's just do it as we like and all that. At the end of the day,
it's still fall back.
Yes,
it's still fall back.
We are not even feeling it that much in the south. In the southwest, when you're talking of this cooking gas, when the thing just I think it's trying to
it's coming down right. It wasn't. But, I think it came down immediately.
Yeah, but
few days after the increment. So I think that's exactly what we're experiencing now, is this CNG. Because with this, I didn't know why transport fare would keep on increasing despite the price. At least 400, 450, 500 is not too bad, but they don't care. Even they keep on telling you the money used for the conversion is some close to 1 million, some even more than 1 million, depending on the engine of the vehicle. But I mean, by 2-3 months, you already recoup your money, but not as in trying to exploit, because whatever that it goes round is just like a vicious cycle. You don't exploit somebody trying to increase your price of transportation. It will still boil down. It snowballs to the prices of commodities in the markets, so everybody will be suffering it. And I think that's not the mind of the government when the federal government came out in full force to begin to inaugurate so many conversion centers, trying to subsidize this CNG even at a point. So why are you also looking at technicians, having more technicians, training them in this area?
Yes, because
of
I read somewhere that they don't really have the CNG experts. When people using the fuel vehicle and the diesel and all that, you already have workshops, mechanics who already know how to look into these cars that are using fuel. But these CNG converted vehicles, how many of these mechanics and all that experts really know how to operate them when they are fault? Like a vehicle, when you have issues with the vehicle, you know who to take it to.
Exactly.
To look at it and do some work, body work and all that. But the car users are complaining, you don't really have them around.
Yes.
And that really brings to mind, like you said, we need to really have people venture into that area
as skills.
Yes, to see,
school leavers.
Yes, we should I think we should encourage it in a society. People should have interest in knowing how these things are handled when they go bad and all that, so that at the end of the day, if I don't have no way to take my car to if I'm converting to CNG, I won't have that interest.
Exactly.
Definitely, because once it breaks down, who do I go to? So how will my business?
I think it's one of the challenges.
Yes,
technicians. There is a lack in that technician area. I mean, I believe if school leavers or if the education sector can also inculcate it in their curriculum, it will also go a long way to, because once you have, just like you said, many places that you can quickly, just like mechanics.
Yes,
because there was a time where there was news around Aduawa axis that conversion, something that has to do with conversion, and it got burnt. It was in the news there, gone wrong. Exactly. So, but it was just a one-off thing. You understand? Maybe somebody was trying to try his or her hands in this
Nigerians we like
on this conversion. So it's not a bad idea. We are still discussing CNG and matters arising, around it. The government trying to open up conversion centers, then how it affects drivers, everything that has to concern CNG. So you can still make your call to contribute, or if there's any opinion or any advice that you want to give to the government, to also even to drivers, even advice to drivers or the key players around this CNG program, you can call the number on your screen. So that
you can call us like we gave you the numbers, and let's hear you out, because we are looking at the CNG and matters arising. Of course, coming on, it was something that many Nigerians accepted it when the president brought up the initiative, but we seem not to hear much about it for now. And that the president is talking about 2027. By 2027 we should be able to have these centers more and more. And but if we begin to have deficiency now and all that, it behooves on government to also look into the matter to ensure that we have these stations really converted. The kits, because a lot of people are talking, these conversion kits are not really available.
They are not enough.
Nigerians would love to key into it. I don't know, but it equally calls for partnership. A lot of time government talks about PPPR, public-private partnership. And you begin to wonder, I think it really matters, because when I was looking through the CNG thing, it started in India. It also India equally adopted, and they are doing well.
And India has almost I think it's double population of Nigeria, also a large populated country.
Yes, and India is having it so good because they equally invited the private sector, gave the leverage and all that, and I think it's growing in India and all that. And because one thing about coming up with an initiative, you equally have to study other people who have ventured into it. It's just like business. It's just like business. We always tell you, you don't just jump into a business.
You must, no matter how you
study that business environment. Who are the people that have made it in that field? What were their challenges, and how were they able to overcome those challenges to emerge strong force in that field? I think we also equally have that task in the nation to look into what other countries, what other people have adopted CNG. How did it go with them? How did they fail?
Just like how Keke, Keke was, I think, is from Bangladesh or so. By the time Keke is flooded everywhere in Nigeria, and it's helping a lot in transportation, and it doesn't really consume enough fuel. There's news that vehicle conversion status as of June 2025, about 50,000 vehicles had been converted. Wow, is commendable, but that's, however, far below the 2027 target of 1 million. You understand? So
if you compare how many thousand
that
in
is
2027 with millions,
that is low. Still talking about this conversion, and trying to key into that technicalities around it. Trying to train youth and take them away from the street. I think if they go into it, but our youth these days, I think they want it bigger. you know, but you can still make a huge sum of money from this. After all, if you convert one up to 1.7 million depending on the engine. So I mean, this is a new business you can venture into.
People
it's
can even come up to make this business. Yes, make them just like the telecommunication.
Yes.
A lot of people ventured into, and now you see telecommunication sector is like people are having it so easy. Many companies fight whichever one you choose to go to. You align with them, and it's so easy. I think we people should leverage on this energy sector to ensure that things work, because we can't just be depending on just one source and all that. Everybody knows it's petrol. Just go for fuel and diesel and all that. CNG, see how many people are leveraging on it. I think it's very, very important in Nigeria for us to look into it. But before we continue the conversation, I think we need to take a break shortly.
Okay,
we'll be back to talk more on it. Please, let's take a break.
Or you need a conducive and open field Naduawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremonies, family or corporate events in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. NTA Benin Aduawa is the place for you. NTA Benin Aduawa has a large field for all your events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters, TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art, fully air-conditioned, ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set, therefore ensuring uninterrupted power supply. We also have NTA Pavilion for all outdoor events at the same venue. Guess what? Our prices are affordable, locations are easily accessible, venues conducive and highly secured. Our outside broadcast van is available 24 hours and can broadcast your events live. And above all, you can air your events on our award-winning program like Events and Style. And any booking on the field or hall gets a bonus of free news coverage. Wow! What are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity and have your celebration in a grand style. For inquiries and bookings, please call NTA Benin, the award-winning station. NTA Benin, reaching you from the ancient city of bronze, the cradle of black civilization.
Otherwise known as Waka.
This is Head Plus. Today, searchlight on universal healthcare. What does it mean, Ifecho?
It's good to sing praise unto our God, for it is pleasant and praise is comely.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode on Youth Arena.
Hey there, welcome to another exciting episode in Top 7 Jams. It's your girl Pearl. You are watching NTA Benin, Channel 7. For your breaking news, program sponsorship and participation, contact our marketing department. Follow us across our social media pages on Facebook, NTA Benin 1, on Twitter, NTA Benin 1, on YouTube, NTA Benin.
Yes, if you are just joining us, we are still on Midweek Connect, and all this while we've been talking about CNG and matters arising. The topic still remains, and we're so glad to have you in the studio joining us as a regular guest on this program, and he's a human rights activist. I'm talking about Solomon Idiobe. Yeah, welcome to the
Thank
studio.
you very much. Good morning.
I don't know what really happened.
By the way, you are looking very tight, you know, with your to match.
Well,
I like your cap, everything.
You know, it's just not to rub all over our face the issues of a Nigerian state. You have our person. I'm briefing anyway, but beyond that, we still need to put in our best into the society.
Exactly.
Unfortunately,
Okay, let's just dive into the matters.
So let me
we are looking at CNG and matters arising. We know that I think 2023 when fuel subsidy was removed, government brought in this initiative CNG. So far, how has it fared? Challenges, any future for this initiative? Let's hear from you.
Don't you think the government has done noble by initiating this CNG, you know, to cushion the effect of the hike in the price of petrol?
On it. Let's hear from you.
It's so painful that government have constantly strangulated the Nigerian people. It's unfortunate that
strangulate.
Yes, strangulate. Yes.
Right.
It's unfortunate. I'm one of those who think that this, in quotes, government since 2023, May 29th, when they made the pronouncement of the removal of first subsidy, have actually had nothing to have say they have put on the table of the comma outside extreme taxation.
On the CNG,
I'll come to CNG is just a part.
No, you know, because we don't have the leisure.
I know. I am entering the CNG, but I'm just creating the background that for me, in all facets, CNG is another, because they introduced CNG and it was a welcome development. People went paying as much as 900, 1.2 million, 1.3 million to convert their vehicles, all with the guys that your conversion will give you value for what you paid for, and then the burning of the gas is not as consuming as that of fuel, and the costs, for instance, you could use 3,000 naira gas to go to Lagos and come back, and you cannot boast of using 25,000 naira fuel to go to Lagos and come back. People were converting. I just sincerely was also tempted to, but for the queue and the bureaucracies that was situated, even when state government, you know, were given the opportunity to, you know, register people and do free, they politicize everything. And now coming back, how is the CNG faring? That's what you are asking. Yeah. And I'll tell you that is a total scam. No, I'll tell you why. You made, and I dare to ask you, what is the effect of the CNG gas usage by motorists, especially bus drivers? Have you felt any impact? Is there any effect as the prices of or cost of transportation within, or when you say intra or inter states, whether intra-city or interstate. Is there any
Mr.
sense
Solomon,
of reduction?
Before you came in, we were actually discussing this hike in price. I think is occasioned by the drivers themselves.
No. Now let me tell you, it's not even 250 per kg now. But let me say this.
250. They were still increasing their prices.
I said they want to answer the question.
Yes, sir.
How do you expect a driver that spent 1.2 million to convert his vehicle because he's not buying CNG at 350?
It's not going to be. It's a long time when you convert.
That is where I'm going. That government is not deliberate and not sincere about the implementation, because when you convert, the idea was that when you convert buses, it will reduce prices. And then some of these bus owners converted fully. At least I know that federal government gave up to about 100 free conversion per state.
Is that not commendable, Mr.
So where do you think the problem lies?
It's in government.
In this
now let me tell you,
Okay.
it's just like cooking gas. When people, so at the point cooking gas was, everybody has shifted from firewood and stove.
Government said so. I think people were encouraged to go for gas.
What happened? Government increased the price of gas. The same thing happened in CNG. When people moved into CNG, government increased the price. Meanwhile, they did not reduce the price of conversion. So it's more or less like penny wise, pound foolish. You have not actually brought. It's just like the devil who gives you the right hand and takes you the left hand. So that's why I started with the issue of taxation. Government is deliberately interested in taxing every individual. You know that by January we hear that they are going to start taxing even from your bank account. So it's about taxation. The policy is not directly targeted at cushioning the effects of the fuel hike, but rather targeting a way of making more benefits for government. That's why I said, if government is interested in this CNG conversion, they would have reduced the price of conversion. They would have listed, because you don't convert at Mubini market or go to Agbado market to convert. They are regulated places. And even when people are tempted to bypass, we saw the explosions that followed. So people had to queue up and start doing the normal. And now let me also tell you the places.
Before you came, this angle you talked about, I think we discussed it. Government trying to bring up more conversion centers. Training skills.
How many conversion centers? If you go to secondary circular where you have CNG gas refill, it's queued up. When you go to Abuawa, they are not enough. Now, government keeps telling you they have trained 500 persons, 3,000 trainees. If they are there, why are we not seeing the impact? So part of the reasons why you see that cannot cushion the effect of the cost of pricing, whether in commodity or in transportation, is that at the end of the day, when they intend to go refill their gas, they are going to stay on the queue for 3 to 4 hours. Now, that period are not going to be at work. Yeah. So who pays? So there's actually, it's not like gas stations and fuel stations where you can decide to buy from. But I will mention names now. You can try to buy from distributor A or pump B or seller C.
Middlemen doing
it's not there. It's still being regulated by government. And when there are no outlets, there's no cushioning. There's no positive effect. And then when the pricing or rather purchase of the item is low, and you know what economics is about supply and demand. The demand is high. The supply is low. And the price is supposed to be regulated by government, but deliberately, and you know how government is. Government is coming.
We are trained to, when you raise up a problem,
to play the devil's advocate.
No,
play the devil's advocate. No, it's the devil's advocate.
As in, when you bring up issues, problems, you quickly go to the solution.
Okay, you're asking me to profile solution.
Exactly.
What's the future for this?
There is no future. Let's not deceive.
How should we now face it?
But the question is
about 15,000 converted vehicles.
I'm asking you,
Nigerians, being who they are, they want to.
Oyibo, the whites from where we got these CNG gases have even, left this era to rechargeable electric vehicles.
I think that is what I even saw somewhere. It can be a challenge to CNG. In many countries.
The point being made here is that government is not deliberate about positive change that will positively also impact on the populace. Why I said so is because we have not seen any positive direction of government, and now that takes us towards the way forward. The way forward is clear. Government should take the issue of the CNG gases and gas flaring very important, and then government must make deliberate efforts to, have a database of vehicles that have converted, and must ensure they increase the outlets from which people can refuel their gases, their CNG gas, and then the costs of conversion and cost of purchase should be reduced to the level where yes, that's the conversion. Now let me say this: the minimum wage of an average Nigerian worker is 70,000. The states who have tried said 75,000. So how many months,
some hundred,
or how many years will you, even if your minimum wage is 100,000, for instance, so it means you are going to use your 1 year salary to convert your fuel, your car to CNG, and which means you have saved your 7 year salary or 8 year salary to buy a car. So you get what I'm saying. So you should equate it with the level of the income of the populace. If you are paying somebody 70,000, that's the official minimum wage, and then you are demanding for 1.something million to convert vehicles. My dear,
that means there should be liberalization of that particular space.
You have said it.
Let the private sector
let there be an investment. Let there be investors.
Interest.
Let there be more. That's the only way you can have more outlets. That's how you can have more distributions. That's where it can become liberalized.
So why do you think Igbo people, being who they are not really into this business of conversion?
Because government are the ones regulating. Government is not. See, government, they be like you give dog food, you whole cane. Look at how is Dangote faring. It's just a simple question. You and I know the story. So that's why I said there's no realistic approach towards encouraging people to invest. Government is still regulating, and they've not deregulated. Until you deregulate, that's the only way you can have people investing. That's the only way you can have more outlets. That's the only way because you have trained somebody. You didn't give them training kits. You didn't give them empowerment kits. How will you open? Is it a baby thing to go and open a CNG gas plant where you can refill gas when the kits alone are almost running into half a million?
So people should be encouraged to go into it. So even looking at
government
CNG experts for people to train and work on these CNG vehicles when they have issues, because a lot of people
about the issues, because at the initial stage you are likely to, because when you have a vehicle converting from fuel to gas at the early stage, you'll be like when you first they drink Coke, or they call say you drink Sprite, the taste not go be the same thing. You go they get as it they be, but over time your system will adjust. So there are a whole lot of things, a whole lot around it. But the point is this, and I say this without fears, that government is the key. Government is the reason for which Nigerian people are suffering. Government is the reason for which Nigerians are not getting dividend. Nigerian government can only be the source for which succor and better life can come for the Nigerian. As we stand today, we are all sufferers of poverty, whether you like it, whether in the medium, or large scale poverty. Government is a major distributor of this, because you cannot be taxing me. For instance, if the civil society community for instance, they don't intervene in the issue of the private school stuff. At the point, the taxation for private schools were almost going to keep parents, because school owners will increase the school fees, because
when government is trying to improve on the standard of the public schools.
It's optional. No, you don't. No, you don't. No,
we don't
no, 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 no. I need to. No, no, no. No. Your standard of public school is not already improved on. Then you don't know.
Are being trained and
you don't suffocate. No, you don't suffocate. No, madam. I beg to. No, I need to correct that impression. I need to correct it. When you know, it is why we are here. Yes, government is doing well. Commissioner may have been doing well. But when you are talking about taxations.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Solomon.
Let's hold it at that. Let's hold it. How many public schools are okay?
Let's hold it at that.
You don't say what you can't end. You don't know. Don't go there.
You were here with us earlier and we have all the time.
It is the same.
All right, thank you so much. For what you've said so far, it is that government
is always like this.
No, I'm always like this.
Let us wrap it up. The bulk lies with government. That government needs to be proactive to ensure that this CNG initiative operates in its full capacity as its intention is, and that everybody will get to enjoy, because it's a good initiative. It saves cost and everything when we get to know about the advantages of CNG. Thank you, Mr. Solomon, for coming to the studio. Thank you for and at this point, this is where we call it a wrap on this program. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you next week for another interesting time. Until then, good morning.